Don't skip ahead to the install part of this video just yet, folks. Guys, let's stop, take a second and work out exactly what we need to install the Car Builders Sound Deadening Kit in the back of the Ford Ranger and in your rig. Folks, we are doing a 12 volt install. That's right, a 230 amp hour Ultra X lithium battery kit from Kick-Ass is going in the back of the Space Cab Ranger in the cab. So we've already done the rear seat delete. If you want to see that video, folks, check it out in the link in the description below. We've done that. The rear seat delete has happened. We are up to the next stage, which is the sound deadening. A lot of people get confused about sound deadening, what you need, how it works, all that sort of stuff. We're going to have a quick little chat about that, and then we're going to get into the install. First of all, let's work out what we need. Alrighty, folks, now what most of us do is we go out, we buy the sound deadening sheets, we think, you beauty, let's whack them on the interior of the cab of the rig. That is not the right thing to do, folks. What you want to do is go out and get yourself some isopropyl. I recommend this one, the Car Builders one. It's in a can, ready to rock and roll. You can use methylated spirits and all that sort of stuff, but the mixture in this one, they've researched it, folks, and is just right for when you want to do a surface clean before you put your sheets down. So we'll give this a crack. About 20 bucks from your Repco and your Super Cheap Autos, all that sort of stuff. And I reckon that's a great little investment. Just a spray can. You'll see it in action in just a second. Spray it on the back. Wipe it down, grab another cloth, wipe it off, and you'll be good to go. Good way to check to make sure that it's all clean and dry, the surface in the that you've just sprayed. Grab yourself some masking tape, folks. We'll peel the masking tape off, we'll stick it on the back, on the metallic surface that you want to then put the sheets down on, and then let it sit there for a second, and then when you pull the masking tape off, if you get that nice little sticky sort of kind of sound, you know that the masking tape is sticking and that the surface is dry. Also, what you're going to need is a roller. Now, if you buy the premium kit of the Car Builders Sound Deadening, this will come with it. I just got the sheets separately, so I had to go buy this on my own. I think this was about 10 bucks, again at Repco. And that's your roller for the sheets. So you'll roll the sheets into the grooves and the back paneling or wherever you're looking to put your sound deadening sheets in your vehicle. I highly recommend a great set of scissors. These are ultra sharp, these ones. These ones are Crescent. Pick these up, I think, at Bunnings or Hammer Barn, as some of us call it, and a fantastic pair of scissors, super, super sharp, which is what you're going to need to get around the corners and the edges and all those little weird and wonderful spots that we're going to end up putting the sheets in. Finally, folks, you're going to need one of these, aluminium foil tape. Now, I've gone out and got the Car Builders one again, and this is to match the colouring, not only match the colouring, but also the edges and the joins of where the sheets meet. We're going to put that down over those joins and the edges, take a little bit of sharpness off, make it nice and level, all that kind of thing, before we put down our acoustic liner. So we've got the Car Builders acoustic liner. Here it is, folks, the acoustic liner. Now this is what they call stage 2 of the sound deadening process. There's 3 or 4 stages. I'm only going to stage 2, which is this one here. It's a sticky backed carpet underlay, essentially, folks. It's 12 mil of thickness on the mat itself that sits on top, and it's an open and closed foam style. So this will really, really help deaden the sound coming through the paneling of your vehicle. So we'll throw that on. That goes on last, obviously, because first, after you've done your prep, we've got to do our sound deadening sheets. Now, folks, let's just quickly chat about this just before we get into it. Sound deadening does not make your vehicle completely silent. The idea here, folks, with sound deadening is to nullify the vibrations and the ambient road noise that you normally hear in your vehicle and any sort of like exhaust noise, that sort of stuff. It's not going to turn your car, your interior of your car into the cone of silence off the old Get Smart from back in the day. That's not going to happen, folks. This is a sound deadening. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to run out, we're going to go for a quick drive. I've taken the rear seats out. Again, you can see that video below, the rear seat delete of the Ranger. We're going to do a quick drive up the highway, do a dB meter reading, and then once we've done the full install, we'll jump in the car again, go for a drive up the same highway, and do another dB meter reading. Take the dB meter reading, folks, with a grain of salt, because it's not really that accurate in this application. I mean, it is, but it isn't, if you know what I mean. So sound dampening, sound deadening. So when you hit a cymbal on a drum kit, for example, if you hit a cymbal, it's going to go boing. You put a sheet on this, it's going to go boom. You know, the sound will still be there. It's the way it reacts and interacts inside the vehicle. It dampens out what you normally hear as sort of an open, airy, echoey sound inside the car from everything from outside the car, if that makes sense. So those of you out there who think this is going to turn your vehicle into the cone of silence, totally deaden your engine, you're not going to hear a thing from the outside world. You're kidding yourself, folks. That's not what it's about. It's about dampening down and deadening the noise that you're already hearing, folks. So enough talking about it. We're going to get into it. I picked this up for about $105 from Repco. All of this from Repco except the old skizzers there. They were from Hammer Barn. Let's get into it. Let's get out into the vehicle, put the sound deadening on. But first, we've got to do our isopropyl prep. So let's get into it. Cheers, let's go. Alrighty folks, we're getting up to speed on the highway, sitting at about 90 kilometres an hour at the moment as we merge on. DB when I'm not talking, 84. 84. Merge on. As you can see, we're getting onto the highway now. Getting up to speed here, 95 k's an hour. And that's 100 there. So about 90 dB on the highway. Alrighty folks, here we are in the back of the Space Cab Ranger now. We've got the rear seat delete out. Like I said, you can check that video out, the link below. Now what we want to do is we want to cover mainly this section here. Now we're not going to do any sound deadening on the base of the cab. We're going to leave all this flooring in. You'll see why when we get to the point of putting the 12-volt battery system in. I'm not going to need to really sound deaden any of this, so I don't need to lift up the floor as such. It's just the back paneling that I want to re-insulate, essentially, since we took the back seat of the Ranger out. So what we want to do first, you can see it's a little bit dusty, a little bit dirty in here, so it's not too bad to be completely honest with you, but we still want to clean it up before we try and attempt to stick the sound deadening sheets from the Car Builders kit on the back of it. So we've got our two little cloths here, one here for the big scrubber and an old bag of rags here to clean it up afterwards. There is some lining still in here underneath this bit of carpet. So there's a little bit of underlay in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip that out. Now it's not going to be the neatest thing in the world, but we're going to rip that little bit out so I can put the sheets under right to the edge of the back panel here of the Space Cab. So we'll quickly get that out and then we'll do our isopropyl. All right, that's the last of that last little bit of carpet underlay that was installed here in the Ranger taken out. So what we'll do now is we'll give it a spray. So what you want to do, gang, is give it a good hard shake first, and then get about 10-15 centimeters away from the actual paneling and give it a nice even coating. So we'll give it a shake, shake, shake. Nice even coverage, folks, is what you're after. Go. Whoa. She's a bit strong. We'll do up here as well. We'll do in there because obviously that's where we really want it to be clean, in these ridges here, because that's where we really need to get the sheets up and stuck to the wall. Good solid coating there. We'll grab our cloth, give it a second there. We've got our tape too, don't forget. So we'll give it a second. Let it seep in. And then we'll get in here and we'll give it a clean. Hopefully you can see the difference on the camera. Now don't be scared if you need to hit it a second time, if you've missed the spray section or whatever. I think we've done all right on this one. Nice, good clean. Like I said, it was pretty clean to begin with, I'm not going to lie. But still, good to do it. There is still a layer of dust and dirt on here just from driving this thing around. A lot of it obviously down in this lower section, behind that last bit of lining that we just took out. Now that is nice and clean. I'm just going to go over it again with a second rag to dry. You can also spray this directly onto the rag if you wanted to, folks. I prefer to spray it on the surface. It's totally up to you. So he's got a little old t-shirt here, lint-free t-shirt. We'll just go over it. Now the test. We get a bit of masking tape, folks. Not need much, just that much. I'm going to stick it right here. We'll let it sit for a second. We should just be able to peel it off. So if we can peel it off, no dramas at all. it'll be fine. If it sort of like just falls off, then you know it's still not quite dry enough. All right, let's have a look. Pretty good to me. Right, the prep, it's done. Let's have a look at some sheets and get the sheets down. All right, the exciting part, I guess, that everybody wants to get done. The actual part where we install the sound deadening and dampening mats. So here we go. I've got the black version, folks. These do come in silver and black. I have the black sheets here. Now, I didn't specify when I went down to Repco which ones I wanted, whether I wanted silver or black, but do know that you can get the silver ones. This is the black sheeted styled one, so that's going to sit just there. And I tell you what, I'm not going to need many going off that, I tell you. But obviously you can use this to do your roof lining, your doors, your floor, the back walls, the firewall, absolutely everywhere, folks. So there is, how many is there? There's 1.8 square meters of 500 by about, I reckon that's about 300, 500 by 300 sheets in there. So 1.8 square meters worth, which would probably do this entire car just about. Maybe not the roof, but definitely the floor and the back wall. All we're focusing on, folks, is the back wall. And I've just had a bit of a thought. Underneath here, you may or may not be able to see it, but underneath we have, this is where the spare tyre jack is kept. Now, I've actually found a grommet under there that I'm going to use. So I'll probably take this out and we'll probably sound deaden these little holes as well, because they are the same material, the same metal as the back wall. So we'll probably do them as well, but we'll focus on the back wall first. Get that done, that's the big job. So for stage one here, folks, remember you're going to need, obviously, your sheets. You're going to need some scissors to cut where you want to go here, and you're going to need your roller. Now, if you've got quite a few bits and pieces going on here on your paneling, you've got inserts, you've got mounts, you've got all that sort of stuff that you need to cut around, what you want to do is essentially line it up to wherever your cutout is, feel around for it, put a little hole there, and then you can make sure that you can cut out a little hole so you don't go over the top of any mounts. For me, that's not an issue on this one. The only ones I really need to watch out for are these little lugs, so I can put the lugs back in to put the carpet lining back up on top. So I don't really need to worry too much about this one. There is a grommet down here that I will cut around, but that's it, really. This should be a nice, easy one. Fingers crossed. Now, I didn't actually think I was going to need to mark out too much here, but I want to utilize these bolt holes here for the back paneling of the actual 12-volt system to help secure it to the back of the cab here. So what I've done is I've grabbed a red Nico or a red Sharpie, and I'm just going to mark out where that hole is. So I've lined it up and checked twice, sit him up high. That's it, that's the spot right there. So I got a little red Nico marked there, and I know that's where my little drill hole is going to be to get into that bolt. So that'll help us secure the back paneling to the frame of the car. That should be it. The grommet here, obviously, and these little lugs here, I'm just going to, when I get down there, we'll have to just cut out the corners, work out where that is on the actual sheet, and cut around it, just so it can easily sit in behind it. And that should be it. So there's only that hole, and that hole over there that I really need to worry about, and these little lugs here that used to hold in the old chair that I'm not going to remove because it's just too hard. All right, let's put all this stuff on. So as you can see, it just peels off just like that. Don't peel the whole thing off at once. I think is the way to go here. Just do it in increments. So I'm just going to push that one down there. There we go. Now, this is where you get your roller, guys, and you get him right in there once you're happy with it, which I am. That one there. And obviously we've got so much that we can do these little bits here that may be sticking out still. We'll do all them at the end, get all those little bits that we might miss. And there you have it, folks. The first sheet is now applied to the back of the Space Cab Ranger here. Now we're just going to fill it all out. So let's do that. Remember, make those markings for your holes, or otherwise you'll be boned later. All right, let's finish it off. This is really good. Remember, use the back end of your roller. Get right into those crevices and cracks. Get right in there. Lock it all down, just like that. Beautiful. Now, obviously, we've got this little section here that isn't a full-size panel, so I've just lined it up there to make the cut. So the join will happily meet in the middle. If there's a little bit of overlap, I'm not too concerned, but obviously you don't want you don't really want that much overlap going on. And here she is, folks, all done and dusted for stage 1 of the Car Builders Sound Deadening kit. We have the sheets all now applied all the way to the bottom corner. Now remember, I said I'm not going to do underneath the carpet here because you'll see why later on in this 12-volt install build. It's just not going to work if I do that. But we've gone behind this top little layer here. That'll attach back up to there. Now we're going to put the acoustic lining on. Now I'm only going to put the acoustic lining from the top to the top of this little lining here, the actual OEM floor. So otherwise that's just going to sort of stick out and be a bit weird. So we've got the sound deadening sheets behind all that, all the way to the floor. So that'll make a nice significant impact. And then the acoustic paneling right up to that as well. So I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 sheets out of about 12 in a pack. So to give you an idea of how much you need. So I've done all the little edges, all the little bits that we couldn't quite get to with the straight sheets, all around these little hooks here. They're all done, and now it's time to put the acoustic lining on. Alrighty, folks, it is acoustic liner time. It's a lot of people sort of stop at this stage 1 and they'll be happy with that, and that's totally fine. But if you really want to get the benefits of putting this whole kit in, you really need to do the stage 2, and probably the stage 3 ones. I'm only going to stage 2. Only because all I really need is a bit of insulation behind here, because they're going to have the back panel of the 12-volt system sitting across here. So all I want is a little bit of insulation just between the wall and the backboard. One to keep sound out and sound down, and the other one is just to help out the aircon and all that sort of stuff. So the insulation keeps either your car warm or cool, depending on the season. So this is a great way to do that, thermal layered, and a sticky back as well. This is going to get quite awkward. It's 1.8 square meters. It's going to get a bit awkward trying to fit this. So we might cut to the time-lapse camera because there could be a bit of stuffing around, but obviously we want to get it into the grooves, push it in like we did with the last one. It's got a sticky back, so it's nice and easy to apply, but just a bit awkward in a space cab. There's not much room in here. All right, let's give it a go. Don't forget your trusty scissors. You're probably going to need them. I know I will. All right, I've had a bit of a play here, and we will go vertical, and I'm just going to cut it across the top where we need it, and stick it to basically straight across. Now I'm also going to go, I said earlier, let me drop this down. Like I said, I told you it'd be awkward, folks. I am going to go behind here. I did just put the insulation behind here. Now remember, there was some already in here from factory, and it doesn't stick out too far. So I am going to put in the acoustic liner from the Car Builders in behind this layer here. So the insulation will literally go from the floor right up to here. So it should look good. and hopefully fit nicely. But anyway, back to being awkward and trying to get this thing in. All right, here we go. All right, we'll go inside and cut it up. Alrighty, we've measured, we've cut, we've got our insulated layer here, the acoustic liner. It's time to put it in. We'll fold down this little bit of OEM flooring here. We'll tuck that in behind there. And we're going to remove this back sticky layer, this white sheet here, and hopefully just push it across, blend it in, push it in, and we'll have our acoustic liner done. And we'll trim the top and trim the end when we've got a little bit of excess there. And that should be it for us here in the Ranger. Let's see if we can get it done. I've definitely found that doing it in sections is way better than trying to pull the whole thing off at once. The lining I've found, I haven't been able to make it go quite to the floor, and it's already stuck in, but that's okay. It's only about ½ an inch off that bottom corner, and the stage 1 sound deadening is already on that part of the floor anyway, so I'm not too upset about that. Plus that lining will cover it up. So pretty happy with that. And then we've just got this last little section to go. All right. Now I still need to trim this top section, but that's looking pretty darn good with that lining underneath. Now you might also remember that we had the 2 bolt holes here that I was talking about, one there and one at that end that I'm going to secure the backboarding to. Now you're probably thinking, oh, Rob's forgotten all about them. I haven't. I know that it's 6 inches in from here and 3 inches down from the top of the back window here. That I know is exactly where that marker is. I've already made a hole through that stage 1 lining, and I know that I can just do my measurements and I'll pop through and get right to that screw hole right there. So not stressed about that at all. We've covered everything else up. I'm glad I've put the insulation underneath this matting again. I'm very happy with that. That looks quite good. And it's not going to stick out any more than I thought it might have. This is 12 mil, this mat here, folks. So I was a little concerned it was going to stick out and jut out, kind of like that. It won't once we pin it back. So very, very good. Well, there you have it, folks. The acoustic liner is now in and complete with the original OEM floor. The lugs, the little pins there that hold that in, still managed to fit through both the sound deadening sheets and the acoustic liner. No problems at all. We've got spots here for our holes for where we can attach the backboard of the 12-volt system. But geez, how good and easy was that, folks? A few steps in the pre-planning phase, and what is it? Measuring twice, cutting once is always a good way to go as well. But I'm really, really happy with how that's come up. It's nice and flush with this OEM floor as well. Looks really good. We're about to go for a drive and check out how much dampening it's actually doing. And I tell you what, even just by hitting it, that is very, very dull. And I'm really, really excited to, one, see how much dampening it actually creates, and also I reckon it's really going to help out with the aircon, because obviously with nothing behind there, all the ambient air from outside while you're driving can sneak in. Now it's a lot harder for it to creep on into your car or for your air conditioning to escape. So fantastic insulator as well. There is another layer you could put on top of this, folks. We're not going to that level. That is really, really not what I'm looking to achieve here, folks. I really just want some insulation, some acoustic lining, where I'm going to put the backboard in for the 12-volt system. But anyway, let's go for a quick drive now and see the difference in the dB level. Well, folks, as you can see, the sun has set. I decided to do some cabling in the Ranger here to get ahead of the game on a 12-volt install, so make sure you like and subscribe and follow along after this video, because we start to crack on into the 12-volt build. But anyway, here we are coming up onto the highway. I can tell you already, folks, the sound has been deadened. It is absolutely fantastic in here. I can still hear the tyre noise and all that sort of stuff. I'm running Duratrack Wranglers. They're pretty aggressive all-terrain, so I can still hear them, but it's dead. It's muffled. It is night and day. I can't remember what the numbers were, folks, when we did the initial check, but this is absolutely fantastic. I could just tell by the ambience in the cab Just merging onto the highway now, sitting at 90, now hitting 100, as you can see there, hitting 100. And where are we sitting, folks? 57. Oh, jumps up to 60 when I start talking, when I start blabbing. We're sitting right on 100. 56, 58. Look at that quiet library, it reckons. It's pretty quiet in here, that's for sure. Very impressed. Very, very impressed. Well, folks, there you have it. The Car Builders Sound Deadening Kit installed with the acoustic liner on top. Stage 1 and Stage 2, there are other stages to this process that we didn't do, didn't feel as though I needed to, and I think the results have spoken for themselves at how good this kit really is. Massive difference in the dB level on the phone reader, as dodgy as that might be, but just being in the car, I can tell you the ambient difference that comes out now inside that cab is massive to what it was before putting this stuff in. So folks, highly recommend it. Car Builders, get amongst it. Repco is where you'll find it. Repco, super cheap, all the usuals, I believe. And get out there, check it out. Just make sure you do the prep first, folks, and make sure you get all the right tools, and it'll be a nice, easy install, just like it was for me. I didn't struggle too much at all. Just cutting and pushing it in and getting into all the weird and wonderful spots of the cab is probably the hardest part of it all. Folks, I just did the back wall. You could do your whole car or whatever it is you need to do. Check them out, Car Builders. Not sponsored in any way, unfortunately, because it would have been great, but awesome bit of kit. Happily to recommend it to you and anybody else looking to do this massive change in the Ranger. How many Akubras does this kit get? It gets 5 Akubras, folks. That's right, 5 Akubras. It is top notch. Well done, Car Builders, on putting together such a nice, easy to install kit. There you have it, folks. Have you put this in your car? Are you thinking about putting it in your car? Chuck a comment below. Let us know what you're up to or what you've done. Any troubles or issues or how good it actually turned out to be for you. Let me know in the comments below. More than happy to share some stories and hear some experiences from you all out there. Thank you, folks. Make sure to subscribe. We've got the 12-volt build coming right away. It is going to come thick and fast now, folks. Now that we've done the sound deadening and the seats have been taken out of the Ranger, it's time to get this bad boy and all the accessories loaded up and inside the back of that space cab. Till the next time, folks, be good to each other, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers, folks. You.